Welcome to the Beatles Talk Show. I'm Terry. It's Glenn with me, as always. We're back every day, and we love talking about the Beatles.
We sure do.
We come back every day to give you daily Beatles facts. And today...
Our wives don't like us talking about the Beatles every day, though, do they? Oh.
I guess they're used to it, right?
They're used to it.
So today we're looking at January 16th, different Beatles events throughout the year, such as on this date, January 16th in 1957,
Cavern Club.
The Cavern Club opened in a former wine cellar in Liverpool, England. And of course, the Beatles would become the house band in 1961 and 62. They'd perform over 300 shows there over their career. So of course, very historic club. It's world famous. And
do you know that it was torn? The actual original Cavern Club where the Beatles performed was torn down in 1966 to make way for a subway ventilation system. So what they did is years later, when the Beatles became a legend, they reopened the Cavern on the other side of the street, from where it originally was. There's a little bit of trivia for you. Yeah.
On this date, January 16th in 1964, the Beatles performed 2 different shows in Paris, France. And the first show, attended mostly by top society members, didn't go over too well, and so the audience was unresponsive. Of course, no screaming and all that. And the Beatles were unhappy. Gear was breaking down. They even thought people were trying to sabotage the show. They got bad reviews in the press, in the French papers. But at this point, the Beatles didn't have to care because their newfound fame was happening in America. And at this time, it was reported that I Want to Hold Your Hand, which was their breakthrough single in the United States, was now selling 10,000 copies an hour in New York City alone.
Yeah.
That's crazy good sales.
And see, they had agreed that they would not come to America until they had a #1 single. And this was their golden opportunity. So like you said, really the Paris shows didn't matter, the reviews about them. You're right about that.
Yep. And so the Beatles would be getting their first #1 hit in the United States, and Beatlemania would sweep across North America and change the music world forever. Also on this date, in January 16th in 1975, Paul McCartney, with his band Wings, were set out to record their 4th studio album, Venus and Mars, and they were going to record it in New Orleans with Alan Toussaint. Do you think that's pronounced right?
I think that's right. I think that's his name. Yeah. And do you know that Venus and Mars to this day remains one of my favorite McCartney albums?
And it is my favorite McCartney album.
It's a great, great album.
So it's just got the perfect blend of everything, right?
I think Paul, again, another rumor, perhaps, not fact because I wasn't there, but I have read in numerous papers over the years and different things that Paul actually invited John to come down for the Venus and Mars sessions. Do you ever hear that? Because
I think I've heard it.
Hanging out a little bit at that time.
Yeah.
They'd see each other once in a while, but obviously it didn't materialize, not that we know of. So, but what a great album that was, Venus and Mars. Yeah.
Also on this date, January 16th in 1980, the famous historic day where Paul McCartney is over in Tokyo for their tour, but marijuana is found in his luggage and in the hood of one of his children's coats. That's kind of interesting.
It was planted.
So the tour was canceled, and Paul actually had to spend a night in jail. And
he spent over a week, I believe, didn't he?
Linda, no, I think just one night. And then Linda was not allowed to visit him, so of course that was pretty stressful for her, the band, everybody. They just like, what's going on here? Oh yeah, Paul was kept in jail for 10 days. Yeah,
that's
10
what
days.
I thought. I remember that.
I
remember that because people, the older generation were like, yes, you know, we've got a Beatle in jail, and that's where he's going to stay. I remember people were like that. My bus driver was said that. I'm like crying almost, saying, no, they got to release Paul. He didn't do it, you know. Yeah. It was a different time for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
And unfortunately, due to this, the controversy in the news meant that radio and TV banned all McCartney music from being played in Japan. Yeah. So quite the little thing going on there.
It was very strict. I don't know if I showed you this before, guys, but I want to show this to you real quick. This is from the spring of 1980. This is official pin that was circulating around North America, to Free Paul. And you can see that, and I kept it all these years, and I kept all the articles from that time. Because I was actually, one of my other favorite albums that was not very successful was Back to the Egg. And that's what that tour was all about. The Japanese tour was about promoting the Back to the Egg album, which, even though it wasn't a great seller, is still one of my favorite albums, personally, to this day.
Yep. On this date, January 16th in 1981, John Lennon had now been dead for 39 days. And now we got the UK release of the second single from Double Fantasy. It was the single Woman. And on the same day, Yoko sent off a copy of the promotional video for Woman, and it was aired for BBC's Top of the Pops. Aired only once, and then she made a new video for it after that date. Also on this date, George Harrison had his very last top 10 hit on the radio. In fact, his last number one, Got My Mind Set on You, hit number one in the United States.
What a good song that was. It's a great album.
And I was such a big fan at that time that was from the album Cloud 9, and when it came out, I bought Cloud 9 on vinyl, cassette, and CD.
Yeah.
Never owned the 8-track, though. That was very hard to find. Nobody was carrying 8-tracks anymore. But it does exist. Yeah. So that is one of the rarest Beatle-related 8-tracks, is Cloud 9 on 8-track. It would be the last Beatles-related 8-track ever made.
We got to track that down, man. Seriously.
It's a pretty cool item. So we'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thanks, guys.
So my dear friends, come back when you